although there is this divergence that takes place, this splitting of our identity, that is the separation of ourself and our life circumstances, and the individual that has been identified with those circumstances split, and we separate from our life as this experience we've had up until that point. And it's right then that we experience for the first time ourself. At this moment, it's our lower self as the experience we were just identified with, but we're looking at it from the seat of our higher self. That is through the lens of the conscious mind, that we're viewing the story we've told ourselves about the world and our past that is stored in the subconscious mind. And that's consciousness, self-awareness. No longer identified as this self that is our lower self, is this character, this personality that is the story we tell ourselves of the world and who we are in it. And when this split happens, it's often because it's demanding change. We're no longer able to, we're not okay with ourselves. And it's very difficult, and at the beginning of an identity crisis, it's an ego death. And no longer can you go seated back in the seat of your ego until you work through all the things that's caused you to pop free from the seat of it. And even then, you don't go back to identifying fully as it in the same way that you aren't aware of it. You're now being no longer as your ego, but through it. Out of a place that is conscious, no longer subconscious being, you're now a conscious being. You're no longer being a human, you're now a human being. And you know, the real name of our species is Homo sapien sapien. You know, we call ourselves Homo sapiens, but that's because of honestly the state of the mind that we're in, being subconscious beings. The real name, scientific name given to our species is Homo sapien sapien. That translates into the one that is aware, that is aware. And it's, this split is something that I believe is going to take place across the entirety of the human. And it comes on the backside of this reckoning or point we reach that we're no longer okay with ourselves, often, which is because we're projecting our own shit onto other people, and we're empathetic beings, and we're just not okay with that. We're not okay with doing that to other people, and we hate ourselves so much for doing it that this split will often take place because of the harm we're causing to other people. And, you know, it's very, very difficult to move through, impossible to move through without an understanding of what's going on. So, and it's just very dangerous to try to go back to being seated in the thing that is giving you this choice to heal because of how hurt it is. And to try to seat back into the seat of that, it's almost impossible to run as fast as you would have to run to get away from it, from that point. So it's called facing yourself, losing yourself, and you know, it's losing your mind. And it's not such a bad thing as we kind of dress it with this idea of it being this cuckoo thing. And it's really the first step in becoming conscious, being a better person, finding empathy and the real meaning of things like who we are and love through our experience of those things, instead of just through some psychological definition we got from a textbook.